Check, 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 1, 2, check, check. Check, 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 1, 2.
So the sound of the gong is our way of saying, hey there, good morning, and welcome to another Sunday here at First Unitarian Society, where independent thinkers gather in a safe, nurturing environment to explore issues of social, spiritual, and ethical significance as we try to make a difference in this world. I'm Steve Goldberg, a proud, unbelievably popular member of this congregation. And the most popular, that's right. And I want you to know I'm having a bad hair day. But I'd like to extend a special welcome to any guests, visitors, and newcomers. If this is your first time at First Unitarian Society, I think you'll find that it's a very special place. And we look forward to getting to know you a little bit at our fellowship hour right after the service. Speaking of the service, this would be a great time to silence those pesky electronic devices that you do not need during the service, and by silencing them, you avoid the shame of public flogging. So please do that. And I just have a couple announcements. All of these announcements have to do with numbers. The first number is 10, as in 10 o'clock. This is the last 11 o'clock service we're going to have for a while. Somebody said that's great. Okay. 10 o'clock services from now on, every Sunday throughout the summer. Saturday services, the last one was last night, so those are done for the summer schedule. No more 9 o'clock, no more 11 o'clock, just 10 o'clock. So that's an easy number to remember. The parish meeting is Sunday, June 2nd. That's another number, June 2nd, right in this room. An opportunity to hear an update on how things are going with the organization, and your chance to submit your opinion, and in a couple cases actually vote on a few things. And the last number is 27. It's 27 days until Cabaret, Saturday evening, June 15. The theme is game night, so bring your game face and bring your game instincts. We're trying to find a pinball machine we can rent, for example. That's the type of games we're going to have. We're also going to have games for kids. There's an entire part of Cabaret devoted just to children's games. And we do need volunteers. It's 27 days from now. And to share a perspective on why she's so excited about, get up here, about Cabaret, Jen Savajian has something she would like to share with you right now.
Hello. So I just wanted to tell you why I think that this year's Cabaret is going to be a night that you are not going to want to miss. My husband and I came for the first time last year. We had a 5 and a 4-year-old, now 5 and 6. And we thought this is a great way to be involved in our church community, meet some people, get a meal, and then be able to bid on things so that we're getting something super fun, but our money is going towards the church. And our kids were watched for free. They ate for free. I was like, this is great. This is so much fun. But we were a little disappointed because there weren't a lot of families there. So this year I said, I'm going to make it my mission to try and garner some more families to come and have a good time. So I've been working with our team to do a kids cabaret that's going to be going on at the same time as the adult cabaret. So for kids that are 12 and under, we're going to be having so many fun activities like dominoes, Uno's tournament, craft table, movies, bounce house, lots of really, really fun things for the kids. They're going to get a meal included, like a good meal, kids-friendly food, music, and just lots of activities to keep the whole family involved. We're also going to have childcare for kids 2 and under, so you don't want your little kids getting mixed up in all the fun activities for the older kids. We're going to have something for every age. So that's going to be included in the adult ticket price. You're not paying anything extra. So I'm like, yes, date night, no babysitter, kids are fed, we're having a good time over here. And we're also going to be doing some more family-friendly auction items. So we're looking for things like water park passes, mini golf opportunities, tutoring for your kids, things that will bring in more families. So you are definitely not going to want to miss this. We need more volunteers. So come check us out at the tabling afterwards, ask questions, sign up to volunteer. But it is going to be so much fun. So we hope to see you all there. It'll be a really good time. Thank you.
And I thought I was excited about Cabaret. Thank you, Jen. So, that's the end of the announcements. Please sit back or lean forward to enjoy today's service. I know it will touch your heart, stir your spirit, and trigger one or two new thoughts. We're glad you're here. We'll see you June 15 in 27 days for Cabaret. Enjoy the service.
Oh, give us pleasure in the flowers today, and give us not to think so far away as the uncertain harvest. Keep us here, all simply in the springing of the year. I invite you now to rise in all the ways we do as we light our chalice. If you'll please join together in the words in your order of service. In the mystery of life about us, there is light. It gives us a place to be, to grow, to rejoice together. It opens the pathways to love. In this place of friendship, there is freedom. Let the light we kindle go before us, strong in hope, wide in goodwill, inviting the days to come. And if you will take a moment now to turn and greet those around you.
We're going to sing together hymn number 305, De Colores. We will sing verse 1, verse 2, and then the Spanish verse. All the colors, yes, the colors we see in the springtime with all of its flowers. All the colors, when the sunlight shines out through a rift in the cloud and it showers. All the colors, as a rainbow appears when a storm cloud is touched by the sun. All the colors abound for the whole world around and for everyone under the sun. All the colors, Yes, the colors of people parading on by with their banners. All the colors, yes, the colors of pennants and streamers and plumes and bandanas. All the colors, yes, the colors of people now taking their place in the sun. All the colors abound for the whole world around and for everyone under the sun. And now the Spanish verse. De colores se visten los campos en la primavera. De colores son los pajaritos que vienen de afuera. De colores es a la arcoíris que vemos lucir. Y por eso son clases, sermones de muchos colores me gustan a mí.
You may be seated unless you are young and young at heart and want to come forward for a message for all ages.
Yay! Hello.
Oh, some people are wearing flowers today, I see.
Very colorful.
Good morning.
Good
Doug.
morning. I am, in this time of year, the springtime, I am really excited about the fact that our services have so many special occasions that happen throughout this time. I'm really excited that we have so many celebrations and so many ceremonies in the spring. So,
Celebrations and ceremonies, like what, Doug?
well, flower communion today, and we also, and that's both a ceremony and a celebration, but also we talked about the cabaret, which is a celebration, and it is both a chance for us to have fun together and also do something good for the congregation. And what I love about our ceremonies and our celebrations is that they do a lot of different things, at least a couple of important things. They remind us of our connections, and we use things like special words or music or what we do to help us connect with each other and with ourselves. So that's important. And then there's also that these ceremonies and celebrations always remind us of something deeper, something that's really essential in our lives that we need to remember, especially over the years and years of our life.
So we do that with flower communion, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, right?
Exactly. We just sang De Colores, which is a tradition. We'll use words that, like Norbert Capek wrote. We'll actually, in a few minutes, use some of his words to bless these flowers. So that's an example of how that works. What else? What else do we do that
Can you think of anything that you celebrate or a ceremony that you like to enjoy with family or friends?
Yes.
Christmas party.
Christmas.
We buy flowers every year.
Very nice.
Other celebrations you can think of.
Halloween. Yeah.
Halloween's
Lots
a good
of holidays
one.
have.
Halloween's coming up, someone informs us.
It's good to look forward to it. Absolutely.
Thanksgiving is
Thanksgiving.
another celebration. Easter.
Do you have like a favorite thing that you do, Karen? What is one of your favorite
I
celebrations?
love my birthday.
Birthdays, exactly.
Yeah, and look, we have a birthday dog up on the screen.
So let's think about birthdays. How are they special celebrations? So what, they're celebrations in the words that we say. What do we say whenever someone's birthday is coming up?
We say, happy birthday, and we also sing, happy birthday to you.
Yeah, and we give them presents. And the deeper meaning there, I think at least, is what is the deeper meaning actually for you?
I love to think about being alive and being born, you have to have a birthday in order to be alive.
Yes,
And
that is
being
important.
alive is really important to me.
I'm kind of fond of it myself, so yeah, absolutely. It's very important. But there are more things that we do. I mean, the slides will show us some other things. Like, I think it's really cool that today we have flower communion, and it moves us into the summer. But at the end of the summer, when we come back, we welcome everyone back with water communion. And water communion, we have songs that we sing, we do readings about summer and about coming back together, but the main thing that we do is that we bring our water to remind us of what the summer was like and to share that water with each other. So it's a very wonderful way for us to come back together and use this ceremony to help us do that more meaningfully.
Yes, yes.
What else?
What's another ceremony? Weddings happen in the spring, in the summer, in the fall, in the winter. And weddings are about what? What are we celebrating when people get married?
People get married,
Yes,
yeah.
people love each other and they commit to be together. And so that's a big celebration where family and friends come to share their support for those people.
It uses special music and special words, and it also reminds us about love in a bigger sense too. And then we also in this place honor memorials and funerals, which sounds like it would not be so much fun, but is very meaningful. And so what kinds of things do we do during memorials?
Well, when someone dies, sometimes we bring pictures of them to remind us of who they were
And flowers,
And
exactly.
flowers.
Flowers are like a common theme as well. We use special music sometimes that reminds us of the people that we love.
maybe
but also,
songs they really loved.
and they comfort us as well.
And the stories about them.
And it's important that we remember them as part of that as well. And kind of the other thing that we do here, in addition to that, is that we take part in child dedications, which we did just a few weeks ago. And if you'll look closely, this is a picture from a few years ago that features Reverend Kelly and a very young Owen who is about to be dedicated there.
And now what happens in a child dedication?
Yeah, what are some of the things that are part of a child dedication that we've been
remember?
talking about? What do we give to the children? We give them gifts.
A flower. What kind of flower? Do you remember?
In a blanket, yes.
So
to
the
comfort them.
flower is special because we took off all the thorns so the kid doesn't get poked by the thorns. Yep. And then we also give them a blankie that has been specially knit by our shawl ministry folks here.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
two good things.
And so once again, then it brings us back, I think, to today, our flower communion. And so, flower communion reminds us of a time in our history when there was a lot of fear in the world and that people were afraid of differences and often would be hateful and mean to people who were different from themselves. And so one of our ministers started a tradition where we use flowers to remind ourselves that just as flowers in their own individual beauty come together in this wonderful bouquet that is so colorful and so full of life, the same is true with human beings, that each of us is unique, each of us is special, but when we come together, we're even more colorful, and the diversity is an important part of who we are.
Yeah.
So we'll look at some words that Norbert Capek wrote, and if you have a hymnal, you can also look at 724, which are the words to his consecration, how he blessed the flowers as part of his ceremony. And just real quick, before we all say them together, look through some of the words in the hymnal or up here, and what are the words that stand out as being meaningful today as you look at how we'll bless the flowers? Like I'm aware of diversity seems important. What else do you notice? In any age as well, able to chime in.
Love.
Love.
Blessings.
Devotion.
Devotion.
What else?
Holy gifts.
Yeah.
Nice.
So why don't we use the
Read this
words
together.
to bless our flowers together? And so if you're able to read along, you can. So as together we say, Infinite Spirit of life, we ask thy blessings on these thy messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us amid diversities of knowledge and of gifts to be one in desire and affection and devotion to thy holy will. May they also remind us of the value of comradeship, of doing and sharing alike. May we cherish friendship as one of thy most precious gifts. May we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to do thy work in this world. And with that blessing, we get another blessing too. We get to listen to the children sing. Thank you, everyone.
And now you can go to your classes.
Yeah. Thanks for being part of the
the
story
last
time.
day of classes for the year. Lots of excitement to have young buds blooming before our eyes with this music. Thank you, singers. We have a reading this morning from Richard S. Gilbert, entitled, "For the Flowers Have the Gift of Language." Speak, flowers, speak. Why do you say nothing? The flowers have the gift of language. In the meadow, they speak of freedom, creating patterns wild and free as no gardener could match. In the forest, they nestle, snug carpets under the roof of leaf and branch, making a rug of such softness. At the end tip of branches, they cling briefly before bursting into fruit sweet to taste. Flowers, can you not speak joy to our sadness and hope to our fear? Can you not say how it is that you color the darkest corner? The flowers have the gift of language. At the occasion of birth, they are buds before bursting. At the ceremony of love, they unite two lovers in beauty. At the occasion of death, they remind us how lovely is life. Oh, would that you had voice, silent messengers of hope. Would that you could tell us how you feel, arrayed in such beauty. The flowers have the gift of language. In the dark depths of a death camp, they speak the light of life. In the face of cruelty, they speak of courage. In the experience of ugliness, they bespeak the persistence of beauty. Speak, messengers, speak, for we would hear your message. Speak, messengers, speak, for we need to hear what you would say. For the flowers have the gift of language. They transport the human voice on winds of beauty. They lift the melody of song to our ears. They paint through the eye and hand of the artist. Their fragrance binds us to sweet-smelling earth. May the blessing of the flowers be upon you. May their beauty beckon to you each morning, and their loveliness lure you each day, and their tenderness caress you each night. May their delicate petals make you gentle, and their eyes make you aware. May their stems make you sturdy, and their reaching make you care. So ends the reading. I invite us to bring our voices together in song with hymn number 8, Mother Spirit, Father Spirit. May you rise in all the ways that we do.
Mother Spirit, Father Spirit, where are you? In the sky song, in the forest sounds your cry. What to give you, what to call you, what am I? Many drops are in the ocean deep and wide. Sunlight bounces off the ripples to the sky. What to give you, what to call you, who am I? I am empty, time flies from me, what is time? Dreams eternal, fears infernal haunt my heart. What to give you, what to call you, oh my God. Mother Spirit, Father Spirit, take our hearts. Take our breath and let our voices sing our parts. Take our hands and let us work to shape our art.
You may be seated. One Sunday, in a particularly thoughtful mood, Norbert Capek surveyed his congregation and spoke these words: "In the name of that which implants in the seed the future of the tree, and in the heart of humanity the longing for people living in neighborly love. In the name of the highest in whom we move and who makes the mother and the father, brother and the sister what they are. In the name of sages and great religious leaders who sacrificed their lives to hasten the coming of the kingdom of peace and justice. Let us renew our resolution sincerely to be real brothers and sisters, regardless of any kind of barrier which estranges person from person. In this holy resolution, may we be strengthened, knowing that we are one family, that one Spirit, the Spirit of love, unites us, and that our work together for a more perfect and more joyful life leads us on." Flower Communion began in the city of Prague in 1923, and there was a church that didn't look very much like the other churches around it. It had no bells, no spire, no stained glass windows. Inside, there was no organ to make beautiful music. It didn't even have a piano. And no carvings of wood or statues of stone. No candles in those days, no chalice. It was not even a symbol for Unitarian churches yet. And no flowers. What they had were austere but simple walls and a ceiling and a floor and chairs that they sat in every week. And a minister, Norbert Capek, who had been their minister for 2 years. And every Sunday, they would come together. He would share his thoughts. They would talk with each other for a few minutes, and then they would get up and go home. That was the end of church. It was very simple: no music, no candles, and gasp, no coffee. It seems very un-Unitarian to me. But the thing is, it was a time of great intensity in Europe. After World War I, a lot of changes had happened, including in Prague, and those changes had really set into contrast the tensions and prejudices and fears that existed in people in that time. And so there was great promise, but also deep anxiety that stood in tension. And so that spring in the city, Capek went out for a stroll to think and to take it all in. And the rains had come, the birds were singing that day, and the flowers were blooming everywhere. And he realized how beautiful it made the world. And suddenly it came to him as simple and plain and glorious as that day. The next Sunday, he asked all of his congregation to bring a flower or a budding branch or even just a twig to church. And the members were curious why in the world they were going to do that. And they were like, well, what kind of flower should I bring? What size? What color? And his answer was the same to all the questions. You choose. You choose what you like. And so, the next Sunday, there they were, the first day of summer, and everyone came with flowers of different colors. There were yellow daisies and red roses. There were white lilies and dark-eyed pansies. There were pink and purple and orange and gold and all of these colors and more. And they filled the vases, and the church wasn't so plain or simple anymore. And he stood before them and he said this to them: these flowers are like ourselves. Different colors, different shapes, different sizes, each needing different kinds of care, but each beautiful, each important and special in its own way. And so Flower Communion began, and it became an important part of that congregation. But its symbol also complicated things in a way that was needed, but as the word suggests, offered many layers. Because the time became even more turbulent. And so, even though it was very successful as a congregation, at its heyday, it had 3,200 members, making it the largest Unitarian church in the world. It also put Norbert and his teachings into a very public light. And so with the coming of the era of the Nazis, there was great tension, but he refused to stop preaching the power and beauty of diversity, and he decided to stand in opposition to the tyranny and the hatred and the fear that was fostered in those times. And the Capeks paid a heavy price for that courage. Norbert and one of his daughters were taken by the Gestapo, and although a court of law found Norbert not guilty of any charges, still, he was taken to Dachau, where history tells us that he was used in human experiments and eventually was killed. And his daughter was sentenced to a labor camp. And the rest of his family, they were able to escape, but they continued to work with the Quaker and the Unitarian aid societies to help others get to safety. It is important for us to remember the power of the legacy of this communion that we take part in today, especially in this time, in a time when the obscenities of the continuing dehumanizing actions of our 45th president are so powerful every day of our lives. And just this week alone, the flurry of reactive actions in the states around abortion rights herald our own time of fear and tyranny, and in some cases, hatred. And so it seems to me that it is an especially important time for us to be deeply curious about flower communion, what it may say to us now, and in a time where the need for it to speak to us feels so powerful, so needed. Because I believe that many of us, progressives and Unitarian Universalists and other religious liberals, feel so powerless and helpless and overwhelmed now with the current climate. What are we to do in this time? And the thing is, I believe our curiosity will be well supplied with good opportunity to think by flower communion. I think it speaks to us about the need to understand communion's connection to the earth itself, and especially the earth's emphasis on cycles. Both the cycle, as I preached before, of the fact that the earth itself tells us again and again about the both ands of life. That even in the time when winter seems to have its hold on the land, underneath that coldness, deep in the earth, there is always something growing and changing and fomenting, about to give birth, about to come to bloom, about to change the world with its energy. And always, when we are in the midst of the wonder of newness and spring-like energy, still, grief and loss are deeply a part of our life. And that give and take is essential to understanding the nature of all that is. But it also, I think, by extension, reminds us of our own participation in cycles of humanity. How when we read the stories and tell the stories of what happened in World War II, it is impossible not to hear some of the parallels of the rising sense of division and hatred that is happening not just in the United States, but around the world. What would a sense of curiosity about that sense of the larger cycles teach us about this time and what we are to do? I don't have an easy answer to that question, but I believe that by telling these stories and living with them and being with them, something is at work in us. Something about what it means to be resilient when we know that there's an ongoing cycle of life much larger than us, and we participate in it in our time. Knowing that we are called to do something. But wouldn't it make a difference to understand that we are participating in something that has an ongoing thread of purpose, that we did not begin and we will not end, but we must find our own way to engage it in the way that we are called. I believe that this time, if we are curious, also calls us to remember the power and importance of protecting diversity, all diversity, diversity in life itself, in nature, and human diversity. But this communion reminds us that it is steeped in the gratitude and the power of the beauty of that diversity. And it's very easy for us to use words like beauty and make them trite. But the thing is, much more powerful than fear, as palpable as that is, much more powerful even than hatred, as divisive as that is the way that beauty connects us with the goodness of life and goodness with the power of love. And these forces will inspire us when nothing else will. And even when they don't inspire us, they remind us what really matters in life. So that when we feel within us the power to act, we are connected with that restorative and life-giving energy and not acting from a place of division or hatred or lessening. It is essential that we are curious about these stories like Flower Communion that tell us these tales again and again and fill us with possibility when we might otherwise lose it. That beauty and goodness and love will inspire greater healing and courage than hatred and fear ever could. And so when we listen to the words of Capek, may we hear in it a revolutionary truth when he says to us, in this holy resolution, may we be strengthened, knowing that we are one family, that we are one spirit, and that spirit is love, and it unites us, and that our work together is for a more perfect and more joyful life that will lead us on. It is right and good that we celebrate this communion today. May you be curious about it. May you be urgent in the power that it preaches to your heart. May you participate in great love. Amen. And blessed be.
This week, in honor of Flower Communion, our offering is given in its entirety to our partner church program. Our congregation has been blessed with a partnership with the Unitarian Church of Najoita since 1992. This partnership connects us to our historic Unitarian roots in Transylvania and fosters personal transformation through relationship and community building. Through their harsh lives and great difficulties, our partners teach us about resilience, perseverance, the power of community, and the power of a deep and abiding faith. The funds raised through our effort support the continued education of both high school and college students from the Najoita Parish, and also their congregation's music program. There's a table in the Commons directly across from the auditorium with more information on our partnership and ways that you can get involved. And we thank you once again for your generosity.
Offspring of our mother, not all
continuing from that spirit of the gift of that music, may we take a moment together to be aware of and hold the peace of this gathering and turn our hearts and minds towards the joys and sorrows that we share. For just a moment to lead us into that space, may we let our breath be a call to be fully present here. As we breathe in for a moment and pause and then release that breath and pause. For a couple of moments in quiet, may we let each breath bring us more fully here. And as we exhale, release a bit of the heaviness that we carry into this space of common love and concern. May our breath lead us into a couple of minutes of silence together. From this space of presence, may we each in our own minds and hearts call to mind the joys and sorrows that we bring from our own lives and the lives of those we care about. Bring them to this space together, where we also hold the larger sense of care and concern. This week in particular, we would hold Leah Sinclair in our hearts as she continues to be at St. Mary's Hospital. We are wishing her strength and healing, and know that it is especially hard for her to be away during flower communion. And we send the spirit of these flowers her way. And together we celebrate that Kelsey Eskridge Branson and her husband Dan welcomed their newborn daughter Riley last Sunday, Mother's Day. We send blessings to their family. And all that we share, the concerns and joys spoken and not yet spoken, we hold them in this space, grateful for the gift of our connection one to the other, grateful for the opportunity to share our lives together, to care, to remember, and to act from a space of love. We hold all of this and more in that spirit of love. Amen. And blessed be.
For flower communion today, we have a responsive reading that is printed in your order of service. It's for flowers and people. So we'll see what the flowers have to say. I will do the leader and invite you to read the bold. True beauty comes from the earth. It is found in flowers and trees and all living things that make this life a rainbow of color.
We too come from the earth. The same life that has made plants and creatures has given birth to us, that we might add to its richness.
Once we arrogantly believed in our dominion. We thought that nature's bounty was ours to find, use up, and throw away.
Now we know that we must be kind to nature, if it is to be kind to us, that our task is to protect and preserve, not to waste or destroy.
Once, too, we believed that we could trust only our own tribe, that those who looked or spoke differently were natural enemies.
Now we know that people of this earth are deeply connected. Our life is a common life, and only as we are good to each other are we secure ourselves.
And yet, we have difficulty expressing the community we feel. Having so long learned war, it is hard to practice peace. There is courage needed for friendship, a courage not frightened by difference, nor afraid of being misunderstood. So we come to each other with gifts, and we say, "Take this present I have brought you, accept my gift, and accept me as a friend." Out of sharing shall we all be made richer. In the giving of flowers to each other, we shall find greater beauty and more abundant peace.
And now, as we prepare to leave this place, I invite you to take one of these flowers. Take a different one than the one you brought. Take it not to keep forever, for nothing is forever. Take a flower as a symbol of gratitude for beauty we do not create, for blessings we do not deserve, for joys which come when unexpected. Take a flower as a symbol of your participation in the community of this congregation, in the community of humankind, in the community of all living things, in the universal community. If by chance you did not bring a flower, take one anyway. Take a flower as a symbol that beauty and grace and joy and love are not matters of reciprocity. Knowing how to receive is fully as important as knowing how to give. We'll bring these vases of flowers to the back of the auditorium, and as you leave, please take one from these bouquets we have created together, knowing that in this spirit we share in the long history of religious freedom and the power of our faith. Remember that the flower you will hold in your hand is the gift of a friend, brought in good faith to this community and a reminder of the history we inherit as we walk the paths of our spiritual journey. May these earthly symbols remind us of a deeper truth, that in the days of our joys and in the days of our struggles, we are never truly alone. And I invite you now to rise in all the ways we do for our closing hymn, number 63.
Has now unwrapped the flowers, day is fast reviving, life in all her growing powers toward the light is striving. Gone the iron touch of cold, winter time and frost time, seedlings working through the mold, now make up lost time. Herb and plant that winter long slumbered at their leisure, now bestirring green and strong, find in growth their pleasure. All the world with beauty fills, gold the green enhancing, flowers make glee among the hills, set the meadows dancing.
May we leave here today ever thankful for the persistence of flowers and opening ourselves to their long wisdom. Often they grow in spite of terrible winters and miserable summers. May we remember that strange beauty greets us in unexpected places, as if there is a particular grace that is stronger than indifference. When we tend our gardens with love and care, the rewards will be greater than the effort. May flowers ever speak to us of wonder and glories yet to be. of hopes fulfilled if we remember to tend our gardens and our homes with patience and wisdom and love.
We extinguish this chalice, but not the love which overcomes all differences, which heals all wounds, which puts to flight all fears, which reconciles all who are separated. May that love be within us and among us until we gather together again. Blessed be, go in peace, and please be seated for one more gift of music.